stops. Enjoy.
I am still buying gold. I bought some GDX. I bought some Freeport McMoran. I bought more GLD. So I'm still, as long as the chart tells me it's okay, which it's still holding this 1680, 1675, I'm still a buyer of gold. Doesn't mean it's the only thing I own. I have some tech stocks right now. I have some crypto right now, but I think you have to be in some gold for diversification. And I still think it, again, will be a great asset going forward. Gold has been really, really interesting to me. Somewhat of a surprise, right? So I've been on the gold bandwagon since basically we pulled back to this downsloping trend line around just below 1800. We find ourselves just above 1700. I didn't honestly think it would go below here. The dollar is partially to blame. The dollar has been so strong, so strong. But what's kind of bothered me in recent days, the dollar has pulled back and gold hasn't caught a bid. Now, on a technical basis, right? So we took out this line. Let me remove it. Basically, on a technical basis, what I'm now following is this line here. This is the epic line around 1680 or so, 1675. To me, that needs to hold. I will be very concerned if we break below it and start to trade below that line. As long as we hold that line, I think that for the most part, you still have this big move up, and then this is all that sideways chop inside of that move. So I think for me, that's the big thing I'm watching right now. So I would expect another bounce. So if you look at how long it's been away from this line, from here to here, this line has firmed up a little bit. So it will still be support. But again, if it bounces and then hits it again, my guess is it does break at that point. So I'm really focusing on this next hit, if we get there, as being a really important one where we bounce and we need to start heading back up. So right now you have inflation high, unemployment low, right? And I'm trying to get this in the camera. But as inflation comes down, the economy, because they're tightening, unemployment's going to go up, right? And when you get unemployment high enough, they're going to say, oh my goodness, we now need to stimulate to bring down unemployment, and then this is going to go up. So it's going to be like this, back and forth, right? And they're going to basically, it's like whack-a-mole, you know, that game where you whack the thing popping out of the hole back, one over here, one over here, one over, you know, so.
The stock market is always running probably 6 months before the real economy. And the stock market has been selling off hardcore in many countries, and many tech stocks are down 60-70%.
Yeah.
It will be seen very quickly in the numbers, and I think the third and fourth quarter will bring massive layoffs. Yeah, and it's very likely that the US dollar, I mean, it's been so far the best performing asset, and it probably will remain. I mean, it's very overbought at the moment. We can definitely get a pullback here, but more than a summer rally, a relief rally over the next few weeks in the stocks and Bitcoin and in gold, I don't really see at the moment. I think very likely in autumn there will be more pressure again. And maybe also to connect the dots.
Let's go to the S&P. We'll start with the S&P here. So here's your S&P chart, and basically you've had a nice bounce. I mean, beautiful bounce today. Really over the last week or so, we're starting to trend up. One of the things to note here is we are coming into a little bit of resistance. This pivot top, we're almost there, right? So we're almost into that level. I think we're going to go higher than that. I think we fill this gap at least. And then you start talking about, you know, you have a downsloping trend line here, which we're actually above short term. So that's a positive. So I do think the stock market has a little bit more upside to it. But again, I'm in a camp where right now this is a down move. This is an inside bar, right? So let me show you something else here. In fact, let me get rid of these lines. So I love parallels. Parallels are one of my favorite technical tools to use. And what I like to do is I like to connect two lows and then bring it up to the high. And this is, so basically what I'm thinking is I think the stock market goes up right here in the near term, which actually almost coincides perfectly with that gap fill. So that's going to be your resistance. Notice it's right around the 4,000 level on the S&P. So again, for me, I'm long the stock market generally. I did take some profits today. I took Netflix off ahead of earnings because I'm a little scared to hold it into earnings. Maybe I'll be wrong, but I made some money on it anyways. I took SC off the table, but I still am holding some stocks, thinking that we still have a little bit more upside here in the near term. Once we get up in this range, though, I may start to short the market.
If you want to fix the fiat currency. Or you can simply educate people that Bitcoin is better than gold and Bitcoin will be $1 million a coin, and you're not going to fix any of those other things. You're just going to fix Bitcoin, and you're going to make everyone that supports Bitcoin 100 times as powerful. There's probably 10,000 things you can do, that you can acquire, that you can buy, that you can launch, that you can do. There's probably 100 of them that you can be competitive in, where where you're as good as the best person in the world. Everywhere else, yeah, you got in the business, but you're not world class, maybe 100. And there's probably one of them that you can be competitive in and make a profit at and grow consistently better at over time such that you stay competitive. So that threshold of enter the market, be profitable, make money in the market, and grow forever against the smartest, most competitive people in the market, that is 10,000 times harder than can you just do it? So people tend to pick fights that they can't win, and then they pick fights that they win, where they win the battle but they lose the war. I want to say Bitcoin is bad because it's bad for because it's a currency, and I like the US dollar, and so I don't like Bitcoin. Remember Donald Trump said that once. I like the US dollar, I don't like Bitcoin. The response is not, you're not smart enough, right? The response is, don't say, if you were smarter, you wouldn't say that. Don't say that. The response is, well, actually, I understand why you would say that. Other people have been led to believe it's a currency because of the phrase cryptocurrency. But in fact, we've come to see that it's actually a property, and it's been designated as a property by the IRS. So it's a digital gold superior to gold in every way. And if you like gold, you might like Bitcoin a bit better than gold, but it is not a threat to the country or to the currency. Now, that might not persuade the person that was against Bitcoin, but the 500,000 people that read the comments will look at it, and maybe 10% of them would be persuaded. And if you flip 10% of 500,000 people, you just got 50,000 new comments by being polite and respectful and constructive and not confrontational, but just engaging. Now, some people won't even let you engage that much, right? I mean, and you have to judge that. The ideal thing to do, though, is to engage in a technical, constructive fashion to educate, while you empathize. I empathize with you, you want to help the world, and you think that Bitcoin is bad because someone is taking advantage of someone here. But Bitcoin is actually good because of this and this and this and this, and this will help the world and help you achieve your mission. If we go out every day and we explain to people how they can achieve their goals in life with our technology, we won't persuade everybody, but you'll have the least toxic pushback.
Ethereum is running first. We've seen that. Let me bring up Bitcoin in comparison here and put the chart on. But basically, I think that Bitcoin will start to get more momentum in it and probably catch up, or maybe not catch up because Ethereum fell more than Bitcoin, but at least get up to that level. Like if you look at where Ethereum is, it's very, very close to its target of 1,700. Bitcoin still has a little ways to go. So if we bring up the Bitcoin chart here, Bitcoin can still technically maybe even get as high as this 28,000 marker. So I think Bitcoin probably takes the lead here out, and you'll see more money flowing in there. So I think if I had to choose one to be in right now I'm in both right now in the near term, but I would choose Bitcoin to stick with. And if I had to take profits on one, I'd take profits on Ethereum. I mean, 60% move is just an epic move with pretty much no pullback.
It always outperforms Bitcoin. So it's a little bit similar like gold and silver, the relationship. And Ethereum has been stronger, and it's likely to gain some more momentum over the next few weeks. However, I'm actually more afraid of what's looming for Bitcoin when it comes to the Mt. Gox rehabilitation plan. So there's more than 137,000 Bitcoin soon to be expected to hit the market because the Mt. Gox is set to release these funds, and creditors have been waiting for that for the last 7 years. I don't think that people will hodl and continue to just hold those Bitcoins. I think they will be happy to sell. So that could create new price pressure later in probably late summer, early autumn. And that will probably create also pressure on Ethereum again.
So XRP is coming right up into a little resistance level here. This is going to be a big test for it, right? So if we look at this had a wedge pattern. It broke out of the wedge pattern. Let me just extend that line down so you guys can clearly see. But basically, it's above that level. The next big level is this 38.25 cent level, which is this low right across here. So if it can get through that, then you may have upside to about 45, 46 cents as your next resistance level right up here. Gotcha. But this 38 cents area, that's going to be a big level on this if the NASDAQ continues up. So here's the QQQ chart. Qs are getting close to a gap fill, so we got to respect that. But you're definitely if the Qs can break through this gap fill, you have a leg all the way up to $314, $315 on the QQQ, which would be another, $15 past this gap fill, about 5%. I would think that 5% in the NASDAQ would equate to at minimum 10% in cryptos, maybe even more. Usually there's at least a 2-to-1, maybe 3-to-1 variance in terms of their moves. So yeah, I mean, there's no doubt about it. If it's a risk-on atmosphere, if everyone gets jovial and says, hey, listen, we're in a great situation here, everything's going to be okay with the economy, buy, cryptos absolutely will follow suit. I'm in the camp that we just have a couple weeks left of bullishness before the next move to the downside. So again, keep in mind we're in the summer months. They call it the summer doldrums in the stock market. So I think that's important to recognize. Volume is very light. That tends to favor the upside. I think the fact that you're seeing crypto moving is getting people really excited. They're like, all right, we're back to the good old days of 2021. But again, my guess is by mid-August to late August, you start to see us starting to come back in a little bit. Yeah. And again, keep in mind, we're going to be watching inflation numbers, but more importantly, so inflation I do think comes down. It's watching these economic numbers. How fast is the economy slowing? And if you get some really nasty economic numbers, the markets are going to start to freak out about a recession and how bad it could be. And then what can the Fed really do? I mean, what if inflation still only pulled back to 6% and we're in a recession? The Fed can't print money. And that's going to be the ticket to the next leg lower in the markets, in my opinion.
Yeah.